bright as light. My Thursday night, drunk in a dive. They're friends with Rye. He's a Broadway guy. He's just like with entertainment. His lives with Rye and Friends. He's the father of joy and happiness. He loves me. He's a nerd. Cheer over with a Broadway star or you are a guest. We'll have you on the floor or fake an empty end anymore. Rye Myers, Rye Shoes, Broadway entertainment, the best. Rye with Rye and Friends.
Hi friends, how are you? Woo! Welcome to Live with Rye Friends on Broadway, the free Broadway talk show. Welcome back to another week, and hello friends at home who are watching, friends who are here. What an exciting week it's been. First, as always, that beautiful theme song you just heard, I have to of course credit the creators of that. The writer is actually here tonight, Jay Brown wrote the lyrics. It's composed by Jeffrey Schmelkin and sung by the incredibly talented Alyssa Ray from American Idol Season 20, Top 9. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers watching and any mothers that are here or that are about. Happy Mother's Day. It is your day. As you will see, I always every week do my little brooches that I put on. I say I'm getting every week like a 90-year-old woman more and more as I get all these pins put on me. This week I saw Funny Girl, Macbeth, North the Country. I didn't see Jersey Boys, but I think we did the same theater that was at. And this is probably the first week, and I think since before the pandemic, that I was in a show in the theater every night this week. Tonight will be the only night I wasn't, and the great part was most of it, thankfully, were comp tickets, but I had a ticket that I bought, so that was very exciting. I've been in this theater all week, and God knows how long. But we have a great show for you today. I'm really excited for today's guest. But before we get started, as always, we're going to do some Broadway news for you. There's been some exciting things that have happened this week. First, I don't know if you heard, but Jennifer Holliday is returning to Chicago as matron Mama Morton. Very excited. Did you guys hear about this? Yeah, she's starting June 9th, and she's going to be running for 8 weeks. And the last time she did it was actually in the summer of 2021. So thrilled that she's returning. And this week also included the Red Bucket Spring Drive. They raised a whopping $4.2 million for this for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. The amazing thing is the Music Man set the single show record, no surprise, of over $2 million. But they weren't not playing. They were selling signed posters for over $400. And Hugh Jackman was raffling off his gloves every night or a few nights, and they went for as high as $30,000 or more. Yeah. So I mean, it was all for a good cause, and I'm so thrilled they raised all that money. But that is just insane. I also want to give it up for tonight's sponsor. We have a great sponsor tonight, Triple Threat Planner. They're one of the makers here at the Broadway Makers Marketplace. Triple Threat Planner is the ultimate one-stop shop for planner supplies for the performing arts lover. Our mission is to give you a cute, functional, and an easy way to track all the different art forms in your crazy schedule. We want to help you stage your life. You can, if you're here, come to the Broadway Makers Marketplace and buy from Triple Threat Planners, or you can go to the Broadway Makers Marketplace store, BroadwayMakersMarketplace.store, and make a purchase. As you see here, we've got some great items. We're going to be giving away a few things tonight too, so super, super pumped. And finally, as we wrap up, it was I don't know if you saw, but this week it was announced that Ariana DuBois will be hosting the Tony Awards, which is so exciting. The announcements are tomorrow for the nominations, and thrilled that Ariana is going to be hosting. That's going to be so much fun. And finally, unfortunately, today we'll say goodbye to the Little Prince on Broadway. It's closing 3 months earlier than expected. It's supposed to close in August. So goodbye to the Little Prince, and unfortunately, we learned this week too that for Colored Girls will be closing on May 22nd, 3 months earlier than expected. One of the beautiful things that came out of that tragic news for Colored Girls was one of the famous Broadway reporters, her name's Ayanna Preston, and excuse me if I'm getting the name wrong, she actually donated a pair of tickets, and then what ended up happening was it was like a trifecta, and they raised over $15,000 from getting these tickets to see the shows, and like Glass House Tavern also threw in a free dinner, so really sweet to see. So Anyway, with that, let's get on with today's show. Please help me welcome my very special guest. He is someone who you've seen probably on social media. If you follow him, you've seen his hilarious impersonations of Patti Lupone. Please help me welcome the one, the only, Jonathan Hoover, aka Inappropriate Patti. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good. I'm entranced by these adorable little creatures.
Right? Aren't they cute? These are from Hoover Press Manor. All those.
Really?
Yeah.
You do the whole thing too?
She does
This
the
little Mark Cohen. You probably can't see it at home. So cute.
Yeah, so she does all of this. It's little keychain, stickers, there's a notebook, and then we're going to relate some things during the trivia segment from her. So yeah, so also a ruler as well. So you are an organizational person. This is definitely for you. So, thanks for doing this, Jonathan.
My
So nice to
pleasure.
meet you.
Who doesn't like to talk to strangers on the subway?
Right? It's, and to learn more about you, which is so exciting. I love it. So how did you get started in performing? Was it something you always wanted to do? Did you grow up loving performing? What's your story?
My mom was an opera singer, and so music was like a big part of our upbringing. She eventually gave it up to have kids and just did like a church job. But music, for as long as I can remember, has been like a part of our family. And then I was kind of like a singing monster. Like I would literally take the truck of my dad's, the bed of my dad's truck and like stand on the back and belt on my own for all my neighbors to hear. And eventually one summer my mom was like, we need to like put you you need to like audition for something. I gotta like get this energy out so that I don't have to listen to it anymore. And then I did Peter Pan and that was it.
Yes, you started Michael Darling.
Yes, I started, although to be fair, my real first musical was a musical called Copycats of the King. It was a church musical where I played Kitty Obey, the bad kitty who could not listen like a good Christian boy should, which was very fitting.
Oh, that is very fitting. I love that. Wow. Is that a show they wrote on their own?
No, it actually is published, believe it or not, and I still remember the song. Kitty Obey, I'm here now. That was my song.
That is pretty amazing. It was actually one of my favorite shows growing up, and I also used to perform years ago, and I did the same thing where I would come home and stand on the picnic table and sing for all my neighbors. I was so fascinated
Force them.
with Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at the time, and I'll have to tell my Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat story one of these days, but I would get up and I would sing Jacob and Sons, top of my lungs was on the picnic table, my neighbors.
Because all the gay boys wanted to be the narrator. I
course.
Never wanted to be Joseph.
Oh, I wanted to be Joseph. I wanted to have the coat and everything. I spent hours a day on the website, on the internet, trying to find the exact replica. But I would sing it, and no one would know why. God, my neighbors hate me. But so that's awesome. So now you had extensive training in performing and dancing, and even Shakespeare, in Chekhov, viewpoints, and others. So how have these made you a better performer with all of this training?
I am a learner. I'm very voracious with information, and I always, singing was the thing that came naturally, and everything else was a weakness in my mind. And so, like, I've just spent my life trying to prove to myself that, what I can and cannot do. Hopefully with less cans than cans, but it's been more of a pursuit, less about helping book more jobs, but just like wanting to be better, never being tired, and especially like because I started as a little kid, there definitely came a point where I was like, oh wait, like being cute and crying on cue like isn't enough. Like you have to like actually be good, and so like I decided in my like high school years that I wasn't going to do musical theater. I wanted to focus on classical acting so that it would like scare me. I was terrified. I like specifically chose a school that they don't like musical theater was not their thing because I was like I want to go be the worst because that's how I become not scared to go into these auditions. So mostly it's been like, of course I've gotten better I guess, but like really it's been more so that I can believe in it myself. Weirdly, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to a magnet high school performing arts program in Orange County called the Academy for the Performing Arts. And that is actually where like I started dance training because they were like, hey, you're a boy and you're great at the box step. Like, let's put you in the ballet program. And then It was beautiful. Actually, it changed my life. Like that high school was really hard because my parents weren't very involved in how high school politics can be. But like that teacher saying that changed. I mean, my professional career started mostly being a dancer in ensembles just because of that. And so like everything was beautiful. Like it really, I always wanted to be Mikhail Baryshnikov, but like my mom was like, yeah, but like we can only afford to sing or dance, so
Choose one.
Yeah, literally choose one. And then from there, that's like, I'm leaving high school, I was like, I'm a bad actor. Like, I can dance, but like, and I can sing, but like, I think I'm a bad. And so I was like, I'm gonna go to the Pacific Conservatory of the Performing Arts, which was like Shakespeare-focused acting conservatory. And I was like, that sounds scary, but that should do it.
Oh my God, I love that. Well, yeah, I mean, Shakespeare, Chekhov, I mean, I don't even know, I mean, I know who they are, but I don't even know their methods, so I can't even believe what you're studying.
And nobody still will hire me to do it because I'm a musical theater boy.
Well, I was a musical theater at heart,
Yeah.
So, but that is impressive. Now, I went on your website and actually counted on your resume. You've been in over 30 shows, at least what's listed on your website. Maybe there's more. Yes, I counted. What has been your favorite role that you've played?
Oh my God, that's such a because there's so many, like I would say there are three that like informed my career. The first was getting to play Mike in a chorus line because I never saw myself as someone who could play like the straight Italian
I was
dude.
foreshadowing when I did the ballet because I knew you would talk about.
Yeah, and so that was my first, like I moved here, didn't really audition, and then was like playing all the like gay sidekick roles, Mark and Altar Boys and that kind of stuff. And then I went to a chorus line, the audition for Broadway and the national tour, and started getting called in for Mike and was like, this doesn't make sense to me. And then I booked it regionally first. And that was like one of those scared, don't want to do it, so that means I have to do it. And so like that taught me to like, that I could perceivably be straight on stage, which was cool. And kind of opened my mind to what else I could do. And also dancing in front of 19 friends for one whole number, because I can do that, was also terrifying to me. So like it was, and then after that would probably be, I did Billy in Anything Goes. And I've never seen myself as a romantic leading man. Like I can be the nerdy, I can do the Seymours and that kind of stuff. I believe in that. And that was one when my agent sent me the audition. I was like, no, I don't want for that. Like I don't want to do that. But I like just turned two other things down. And was like, well, I fucking have to at least turn the video in.
Yeah.
And then when I booked it, I was like, okay, again, I will do this with fear. But my absolute favorite above all theatrical experience was doing That Boy. And that's because I had I saw it off Broadway when I was 14 years old. I rushed it and like, I sat there and watched it. Was like, this is the kind of theater that I want to do. Became obsessed with it, had like my own production choreograph. I also choreograph. And so like, that was like something that I had in my brain. And then my friend became an artistic director of a theater company and was like, hey, if in 2 years I choose to do That Boy, will you guarantee me that you'll do it, and I'll let you choreograph it because I know that you got it. So I basically got to star in my dream version of That Boy, and like it was a gift. I still to this day want to if I could do it again. He's supposed to be in high school, so maybe someone would believe it. But there's lots of makeup and prosthetics.
Wow.
But that for me is probably my actual absolute favorite outside of like The Lessons. Those other two top.
You have played quite the roles, and That Boy especially, I mean, what incredible, wow.
It's not, the last 20 minutes are literally scream crying. It's like, it was a blast. It's the best show ever.
I love that. Well, aside from being so talented, one of the many things you're known for, and one of the main reasons why I have you here is you are known as Inappropriate Patti Lupone on Instagram. You have amassed thousands and thousands of followers on on Instagram, on TikTok. So tell me, how did you come up with Inappropriate Patti Lupone?
So it's always been, I've imitated everyone. I've always, teachers and cast members and friends, and it's been like this little thing that I would do for, to please my friends. It never occurred to me to do someone famous, other than like, I'd done Carol Channing, but like, who doesn't? And then one day I heard the story of Patti Lupone wanting to she was offered the witch in Into the Woods, and was like, I don't want to be the witch. I don't want my career to lead me to witches. I'm really interested in Cinderella, and like that idea seemed so ridiculous to me that like I got home and got in the shower and was like what the fuck would that even sound like, and started sort of like working through it. And then my friend Omar, Paul, and Efren, I like credit them with this whole idea because it became. I like sent them a voice memo being like, am I like maybe on to an impression or something? And they were all like, yes. So then it became this like parlor trick of like, Jonathan, wait, what would it sound like if she sang this? What would it sound like if she sang that? And then one year I decided we used to spend all Christmas together because they lived in my building. And I was going to go home and like flying out Christmas Day. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make them a little Christmas card of me singing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas as Patti Lupone, Bernadette Peters, and Carol Channing, and send that to them. And I did, and they were like, oh my God, put it on YouTube. And so I did right before I got on the plane. And as soon as I got off, it had 3,000 views on YouTube, and I was like, whoa, like literally landed off the plane and like opened my phone to all these notifications. And like, I put a lot of stuff in the world, but that was like the first time I was like, oh, people care about this. And then I sat on it for forever and ever until finally my friends, Efren, Omar, and Paul were like, you need to put it on Instagram. Like, I was at a place where my career felt stagnant, and like, I didn't go to one of the main schools, like nobody knows who I am. And so it was like,
People know who you are.
well, it was sort of I was like, you know what, if I can't go back in time and fix all of that. And like, I had a career of being what I would call the fourth guy. Like, first guy we get to final callbacks, first guy gets the job, second guy gets the understudy, third guy gets the swing, and then there's me. And like, so like, it was my way of like, well, I can't afford to show up at every audition. And I can't afford to like do the meet and greet casting classes and do the things that you're supposed to do and mail the postcards. And so this was like, maybe if I just have this like dirty little Instagram secret that they'll Google search me and it'll like open their eyes to like a different side, because I never get to do this shit in the room. Of course. Didn't used to, now people explore it. But yeah, and so it was like, okay, I'll put it on Instagram, and then slowly but surely it took a life of its own.
Wow, it's definitely taken on a life of its own. It has grown, it is really incredible. And you're talking about doing impressions. You were doing another one earlier today, and you are an all-star doing impressions. So what's been your favorite part of being Inappropriate Patti? Of taking on this persona, of doing this?
The truth is, and this is something that if you ask any of my friends, I don't give myself a lot of credit, but I'll do it in this moment. The thing that I love is how many people tell me it brightens their day. I've been stopped on the street, especially after the pandemic. So many people are like, oh my God, whenever I'm having a tough time, like, your videos make me laugh. And like, they might just be blowing smoke, but like, I did it as a dirty little, like, try to build a back door into the industry, and didn't think that it would mean anything to anybody. And it's really so cool to like be able to offer joy for free. I love that part of it.
Well, and especially nowadays, when we all need joy, and I'm sure it was also rediscovered during the Pippen pandemic when everyone was home. I'm sure, that probably was, I'm sure a lot more people found your stuff then. Everybody was loving, online videos and stuff. So
it was interesting though, because nobody was in the digital ether when I like started.
Wow.
And so like I kind of like built most of my recognition right before the pandemic, and then once everybody else turned digital too, it was like, oh, it's interesting. Now we're all here. Now everybody's doing a Patti Lupone impression on TikTok.
But you did it first.
and that's what really matters.
It does. Wow. So who are some of your other favorite people to impersonate on Broadway?
Bernadette Peters is my other like absolute go-to, and then Ethel Merman and Carol Channing were like the first two people I ever learned to impersonate, really. And then like the rest of I can do Brian Stokes Mitchell, Matthew Broderick. I have like some Lucy, Audra McDonald, and stuff like that. But like
Brian Stokes Mitchell?
Yeah.
Well, can I quickly?
Oh God, I don't know if I can, because I'm all warmed up with Patti. Not on this spot.
Wow.
And he's still working on him, like.
That and Broderick are two interesting
Well, Forbidden Broadway will not see me because I do all women, and so my agent was like, "You need to add more men to your canon," and so I was like, "Okay, who can?" But men aren't as distinguishable as Our Ladies. You know what I mean? Like Our Ladies are so distinct in musical theater.
They are. Oh, well, and that is why with you it's so incredible that you are so spot on because I mean I have never heard of a man like my person do Patti and so well.
But she sings like a man. That is why I think the Christine Pettys and the Christine Biancos who also do wonderful impressions, like she sings from like a male sort of tessitura.
Yes.
It's all a downward power until she like flips up over it. I feel like her voice just works more like mine than it works more like a lady's voice.
Well, and that's what's so interesting about you. I mean, as I said, you're one of the people that I've come across that can do these incredible voices female, especially I mean, we see it with Christine and we see it with Christine Patti and Christine Bianco, but to have a guy do it is really cool and be so spot on. It's like, I mean, that really takes talent and takes a unique, I've never done crowd chanting, I've never been like and those specific ones that you do is incredible.
My mom was a coloratura, so like a high voice was just like part of the.
Part of it. I love it. I love it. Well, speaking of Patti, you are performing a song today.
Yes.
You arranged to come up with. Tell us about it.
So because my whole account is based on doing things that Patti Lupone would never do as Patti Lupone, like something I've often thought about is why she was never a Disney princess, why she never joined the likes of Lea Salonga and Judy Kuhn and Jodie Benson. So like, where was Patti's princess? And so this medley was sort of an attempt to answer why that never happened.
Amazing. Well, take it away whenever you're ready.
Borrowing a prop. Told time, it's a quiet night, every day, like the one behind, like told time, for a behind, waking up to the side, heard a 花的歌，带我是我的信仰单纯，是我的 what's that word again? Street, hope where they walk, hope where they run, hope where they shelter in the sun, what shotgun. Part of that, a whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I lay up here, it's crystal clear. Now I have a whole new world with you. Think you're on whatever land you land on. The hurt that's just a damn thing you can play. But I know every country and creature doesn't life, does a spirit, has an eye. Have you ever heard the hawk-eye of a broken or has the gritty mouth ever regret? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? You can hold the earth and sky, or you hold his earth until you can pay. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. I just have to point out really quick that Kate and I were supposed to do Guys and Dolls before the pandemic. We were going to be Adelaide and fucking Nathan, Detroit, right before the pandemic, and I'm still the most sad that it's never gonna happen. Can I have her?
Of course, go ahead.
We've not met.
That is, we never know if you're gonna see here or not. You never know if you're gonna see here at Broadway Makers Marketplace.
I am still depressed that that's not happening. Just FYI. I mean,
Where were you supposed to do
we
it?
were supposed to do it at Heritage Theater of Virginia, and I have gone back to look at their website, and it's still like Guys and Dolls will happen, and so I assume they're not a thing anymore because they've not announced another season. Say hi, by the way, new friend.
She's fun.
Hi, folks.
She's the best.
Well, that is amazing. I mean, look at the Broadway Makers Marketplace uniting
Uniting
friends and
once we're supposed to be co-stars.
I mean, how amazing is that?
Truly, that it took me a long time to get over that.
Well, Jonathan,
Thank you for stopping
Nice to
by.
see your face.
yes, so nice to see you. Hello. I mean, all the hundreds. Let's give him a round of applause. That was good.
Wow. You know it's actually hard to sing in the sun, like in half a shop on the subway.
Yeah, I know. Well, thank you for doing it.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, well, and everybody was like, how incredible is that? They were looking and staring at how incredible it was.
Befuddled as to what is happening.
They're like, is that on here?
It is actually, you know what though, one of my favorite things about it is it's for the people that it is for.
Yes.
And it is not for anyone else. And like the people that it's for are my people. Like truly.
That's exactly who it's for. And speaking of our people, speaking of Patti, have you heard from Patti Lupone about your videos?
I have not heard directly. I have heard lots of hearsay about her seeing the videos and what her opinion is on it. I refuse to believe it until I receive my cease and desist or a black eye. I was actually supposed to meet her when I saw Company, but it was the rise of Omicron. So,
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
Hi, Dan. However, we just missed the performance.
I know. I just say I'm sad.
Sorry. We can do it awkward if you want later on. But now is the Broadway, we're getting to Broadway Trivia.
Yes.
As I said, this Broadway Trivia is sponsored by Triple Threat Planner. They're one of the makers here at the Broadway Makers Marketplace, and we're giving away some great prizes from them. So how this is going to work, I have 3 questions here. I have 3 prizes. Whoever answers correctly will get the prize. So these are all different themed questions from throughout. You're welcome to play if you'd like. You certainly don't have to. I never force my guests to play. So, all right, first question. What was the name of the actor who originated the role of Pippen in the original Broadway cast? Dan? Okay.
John Rubenstein.
John Rubenstein, yes! Congratulations, here you are. We have a notepad of all of these cute theater people. They're all illustrated. Awesome, awesome.
I saw him play Tate.
Did you?
I did. In ragtime, he replaced.
That is interesting. And the most recent revival?
No, the very, very original.
The very original.
Yeah, that's who I am.
Wow, I wish. In fact, somebody just got a playbook today from the original that was here that was in the back stacks of playbooks. That's really cool. All right, second question. Who does the Wicked Witch of the West, aka Alphaba, run off with at the end of Wicked? What character does she run off with at the end of Wicked?
Is it not? Is it not Fiero as the Scarecrow?
It is Fiero as a Scarecrow. Yes, congratulations. We have the Triple Threat Planner tape that you can put in planners that are really, really fun. Yes, they've got it. They've got it all. Oh, great. And this is for the final question for all of it. What show marked Patti Lupone's Broadway debut? What show? I know it. What is it?
Robert Ryan.
No. No.
Is it Three Sisters?
It's Three Sisters, yes, but we will give it to Dan. Three Sisters.
You want to play? I want to.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yes. Well, thank you everyone for playing. Give some round of applause. Maybe we'll do a special encore later on. We just missed it, Dan. I'm sorry. Alrighty. So you were saying what you have heard from Patti though, from what you heard from your say, is positive?
The one thing that I like keep with me at the night is that she thinks the vocal is on point, which I'm like, I will take that. I will take that.
You know, it's funny because I would just finish Randy Rainbow's book, his memoir, and he was talking about it, he did that duet with Patti Lupone and how, and she is, from what I was reading, and I think it's a really cool person, and like really like, she was like, oh, I love your videos, your vocals, so I really
Anyone
think that she would love.
Anyone that's like close to her that's been like, I sent her your video, I'm always like, oh God, and they're like, oh God, she's so downtown. She's gonna love it.
Oh, yes, yes.
And apparently has a great sense of humor about herself, which I find. I mean, she talked about her flannel mouth in her fucking biography.
I
So
was gonna say she has a mouth like a sailor, which
Yeah.
is like awesome to hear. So, have you heard from any other Broadway names that have seen your videos?
oh man, it's like the most humbling part of this is like my like some idols have reached out, like Julia Mirny, fucking Liz Calloway. I'm trying to think of all Casey Levy, but there are so many people that I admire that I'm like trying to play it cool while they're like, oh my God, you're amazing. And I'm like crying that Liz Calloway has even clicked on my account. Like it's been wild. That part of it is still very wild to me. And like there are other follows that I'm like, oh wow, Ryan Murphy followed me back. They're like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, never reached out, but still, I'm like terrified of what that might mean.
I mean, Ryan Murphy's you and your stuff. That's
Right.
Wow.
Put me in a show.
Yes. If you're watching Ryan Murphy, put him in the show.
I can play a role where Patti inhabits my body or her son, whatever.
I love it. Look at it. What's it called? Your life.
Biographical.
One of the things with being Inappropriate Patti is you really utilize social media with it, Instagram, TikTok, and I feel like in today's world for creatives, for performers, social media presence is so important. So what has creating Inappropriate Patti, has it helped you with the social media as a person? Have you felt that that's sort of the need to go? And what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to sort of not improve their social presence, but maybe they want to do something like you did, or they have videos that they want to sing? Like, what would you say about social media in that sense?
So, fun fact, I literally didn't even have an Instagram account by the time I decided to do this. In fact, the only reason I have a me account is because I created this and then suddenly like my aunts and uncles were following it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not for you. I guess I should post pictures of my cat on another Instagram account. So like I truly did not set out to create presence. That's something I've always been like, oh, you have to have followers. That's never going to be me. So in that way, like it alleviated because I'm not a self-promoter, and so like in that way, it sort of alleviated the pressure to like make myself the product. Now, granted, the stupid side of that is like my Instagram will do nothing for brands or anything like that. So like I'm not someone who's going to make money off of just like existing.
Well, I mean, you never know. It's all about follower count.
It's true, but I can't be like me doing waitress with Sarah Lee Pye.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's not who I am. But it's been helpful in that way. It taught me. I've learned so much about Instagram and algorithms and shit that I never thought that I would know anything about just by trial and error. It matters more than when I started it, I feel. And then my advice for people who want to do something is keep doing it, number one, because I have so many friends that like have cast a net out there, and then it takes like 2 years before you start to really realize what people want from you. And then aside from what people want from you, be you, and also wear your shame. Because I feel like Patti, the account took off when I started doing the costumes and like the poem, and like that's me as a little gay boy in my room doing what I did in the 3rd grade, putting on a production of Hello Dolly, and I think people related to that portion of it along with the impression. I think that's sort of what made it. And so like I think there's something to the vulnerability of like allowing the parts of you that you don't think people want to see to be seen.
Yes, and seeing it actually out there and people are relating to it. The thing where somebody watching probably was that little gay boy that was also, dressing up, putting the wigs on or the heels on and stuff. So it's so relatable.
Right.
And, that's what I think social media is. You have to be very relatable, and I think people see that and really relate to it.
Yeah, and I think doing something for the sake of making it something will always smell bad to the audience. But when you're doing things for you, like Patti was for me. It was like a fun joke for my friends that like suddenly went somewhere I had no intention for it to go. But I think if I would have set out with the intention for it to be a thing, that it never would have become a thing. Because I've been working to like try to get more followers per video.
It's so interesting. Well, all sort of on this sort of Patti tale, and as we love Patti, I want to ask the audience, what is your favorite Patti Lupone role? Do you have a favorite role that you've seen Patti in?
I've only gotten to see her as joining company, and that was just incredible.
So good.
Yeah,
So
I've seen her in that, I'm sure.
a little sad that they didn't call while she was out twice, because I'm available. But
Well, he's available, so if he's out yet, you know who to call. Jay? you have a favorite?
I loved her in War Paint.
Oh, did not
I
see
know,
that.
deep cut slice.
Yes.
But like, because you could see little flashes of Evita. You could see little flashes of like all the roles that she's played when she was playing Helena Rubinstein.
she also announced it as her retirement, so I really
Yeah.
felt like she was like treating it like the last days of school. Like, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want up here. I don't care if I'm eating Christine Ebersol alive. She didn't, they were both equal, but still, like she
She came for company. Dan?
Okay, this is a Sophie's choice. Okay, so I love her because of her voice, because obsessed with her because of Evita. But my favorite, and I saw it so many times I can't even
Rose, yes. Yes, that's of course. James?
I'm gonna throw in something unconventional because
Do
I actually
it.
don't think enough people have seen this performance. And
Okay.
it's her performance as Beckman in Rise and Fall of the City of Montgomery,
Yes.
which is the Kurt Vile opera that she did with Audrey McDonald in LA, and it's filmed. You can watch it.
is it on YouTube?
I don't know if it's definitely filmed. Like it was like a live, kind of like live at PBS, but
I like have chills that there's a
Yeah,
performance I
but
get to see.
yeah, she did it with Audra and like 15 years ago, I think. And that music is incredible. She plays an objective villain the entire time. She's just evil. It's that photo of her. She's in like a military jacket with a blonde, like half bob. It's really she's just like grimacing the whole time. But it's like she's chewing that scenery and singing that music. And Audra's there as like the young ingenue. And it's
I've never even heard of it.
Me either.
so that one, and also I mean her and Catherine is also.
Oh, wait a minute. Masterclass.
Oh,
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Amazing, yes, masterclass. And I'm sure, assuming you've seen her in company.
of course I've seen her company. I saw it twice.
Amazing. Were you at the reopening night? Did you get to see the reopening?
No, I went. I originally bought my tickets for what was supposed to be their first opening night, and then I like tried to exchange them to go earlier, and then just it didn't end up happening. So.
Now, I know it's probably asking your favorite first child, but what is your favorite role of Patti?
Okay, so this one's really hard because of course Evita was like my introduction to her, so of course that holds like a well, that's not true. Fontaine was really my introduction to her because of Life Goes On. But like I didn't really conceptualize her until I heard Evita. I've not seen her play what I would say is my favorite thing, which is Sunset Boulevard. I still refuse to see Glenn Close or anyone else because the score was incredible when she sang it. I still listen to it. I agree, of the performances I've seen live, I agree with Mama Rose just because for me it was definitive. It was the first time I saw Rose go the crazy way I wanted her to go at the end. But for me, Sunset Boulevard failed the moment they took Patti out of it because the fact that we were deprived of Elaine Page and Betty Buckley singing Patti Lupone's version of that score is a crime.
You are right about that. And thankfully, though, we do have it on recording. Well, now Spotify, but thankfully it's a recording of it. We can hear Patti's.
There are some slime
version.
tutorials if you're
Oh,
interested.
okay. Well, that's also good to know too. What would have happened? What it would have been? You know, she had continued.
She would have won another Tony.
Oh,
For
I'm
sure she would have won
sure.
another Tony.
Yeah, that's. And what has been your favorite cover that you've done? Inappropriate Patti cover with Patti Lupone's voice. Do you say that one that was really, really funny? That
I mean, Steps of the Palace will always be like my heart just because that's where it all started. However, I've been getting I work at Downtown Mamas, and we get money for requests. And like something that keeps coming up is people asking me to do Ladies Who Lunch. And I have stayed away from her material just because it feels like it rips a little bit of the smoke and mirrors out of it because you can really compare me against her. But I've been really fucking loving doing that song as her in the bar. That's
How fitting to do it at a, in a
totally.
bar.
I make him pour me a martini glass to drink while I do it the whole time.
Okay, I have to see this. That is, I mean,
It's become my that has become my new favorite thing to do as her.
Oh my God,
Just for the word.
Oh yes. Oh, we love you, Patti. So, what have you learned about yourself as a person during this time as being Inappropriate Patti? Has being Inappropriate Patti taught you, about life, or giving you something that you've learned about yourself?
The lessons are like never ending because it was something I did on a whim, trusting instinct, and like it really worked out somehow. I also, again, this little gay boy that would put pillowcases together to make a dress, like it's kind of helped me make a lot of peace with the shame that I used to have with him, like my parents were super supportive, I never felt that, but it was definitely like something for home, you know what I mean? And so like I made a lot of peace with him in that, and then also I've always wanted to work as an actor. I've never wanted to have any acclaim, or I always say I want to be the Margot Martindale of musical theater. I want people to see me and have no idea what they've seen me. And I love you, Drew. And just friends all over.
That's beautiful about being here.
But more than that, it taught me that maybe I have something a little more worthy than worthiness is like the number one word that me and my therapist work through, and like doing this has sort of helped me discover my own worthiness in a way in like the actual aspects of my career, because Patti's a joke, you know what I mean? Like, and so like for people to care about that, and like it's a half-ass joke at that, and so like it's given me a lot of confidence. It's opened so, it feels like many doors are open. I just haven't walked through them yet,
Well, when you're ready.
Yeah, well, it's, all about timing.
Of course, of course. Are you in the works of planning sort of, I know you do other impressions. Are you planning the impressions that you do know? Are you planning sort of other videos with them, or other sort of, not only dress ups, but other sort of, costumes?
Definitely Bernadette, I like keep including her because I love that they don't actually have a relationship, but they should. In my mind, no, apparently they don't really like each other. And I definitely heard in an interview where someone asked Patti Lupone about Bernadette, she was like, we don't really like, and she was like, we don't convene, something like that, where it was like, that sounds contentious.
I should be surprised because there's a lot of people.
But I don't. I have put the other impressions out there. People fucking love the Patti Lupone one. So like, it's so. I think others will make appearances in videos. Like I've always wanted to do. I did a little snippet of it, but like the Schuyler sisters with Bernadette.
Yes.
I can also do Betty Buckley. So I like Betty Buckley and like have them be the Schuyler sisters. Oh, I do Mandy Patinkin too. So I've always wanted to do like Summer Lovin' with Patty and Mandy. And things like that. All these stoner ideas that haven't come to fruition. But I am working on putting a like cabaret show together. And so I do think that some of that would come to play as well. But we'll see. That idea still terrifies me.
But it's very exciting. I was just thinking about it. I would love to see you do Patty in memory.
Oh God, yeah, I can't believe I haven't done
Yeah,
that.
that would be
It's because it's almost too appropriate. You know what I mean? It's almost like, how did that not happen?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. But I still can't picture her singing it. That's why I feel like it would be.
I almost see her more as bum ballerina, so she can do. Or skimble shakes because of all of that. I have been in for that role and I still don't know it. I still have no idea what he says.
I'm one of those weirdos that loves cats. It's not one of my, it's not good more. I love the music. I think it's so
Nostalgic.
interesting, beautifully written. I mean, for what it's worth, I know we all, joke on cats, but I just think that music, I mean, I saw the revival, and I'll never forget sitting in the revival, and singing, da 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 da. I was just listening to that, the music, I mean, it's,
I mean, the best piece of choral music he ever wrote is the "Can it be real high, oh my God?"
and of course, nobody knows what it's about, but I've even discovered the German version. The German version is so cool. I mean, you think you heard it in the Broadway or the UK version. Listen to the German version. Like, I can't even pronounce it, but it's so good to listen to. And I think it's one of his beautiful scores he's written. And that, and I mean, as I'm saying, Joseph and Bean's Technicolor Dreamcoat is also my favorite.
See, Jesus Christ Superstar is my, I want that original concept album back on Broadway. Acid fucking rock singers getting notes every night.
Have you listened to the newest release, the Jesus Christ Superstar, all female?
No.
They have it all female. Cynthia Arvizo. I forget the others. Shoshana.
Good God.
Yes. And it's incredible. They just released the full.
And Patti wasn't Pilot? What are we doing?
No, Orfeo was Pilot, right? It was Orfeo? Right? I think it was Orfeo was Pilot.
Okay.
But it's very good as well. Yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar needs to be revived. In fact, it's been about 10 years since I did that show in my local community theater when I used to perform. It's actually been 10 years since I did it.
It's one of those, I keep trying to figure out my way into it, but, I've yet to.
Yeah. The tour apparently is a pretty tour.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I know somebody who's been Vegas in it, but it's a very good show.
Yeah.
Do you have a current show that you're obsessed with, currently on Broadway?
Oh, that's current
for this
on
season.
Broadway. What am I obsessed with? Six I've been listening to a lot, but that's sort of pre this season, I feel. What did I just see that was so? I cannot wait to see Strange Loop. I saw it at Playwrights Horizons, and I have been listening to that sound show. So I guess that I would say that's the thing that I am the most obsessed with right now. We need more shows like that. We need
Do you have tickets for it?
Oh yeah, I'm going next Wednesday.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew the nominations were coming out this weekend, and I was like, I gotta go to the box office before this becomes impossible to get a ticket to. I just saw something. What was it? It was Into the Woods. Oh my God, Into the Woods Encores was so good. I guess I can't technically be obsessed with it.
I've seen that next week.
To me, there has never been a good cast since the PBS cast, and this is for Sarah Bareilles to get laughs in all the places Joanna Gleason got laughs without doing any of Joanna Gleason's joke. It's incredible. It's incredible. So,
You're going tonight then, right?
oh my God, I want to hear what you think. I love it. Bye. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. So sorry to see your performance. You can rewatch it though, for sure. Good to see you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, how is Neil Patrick Harris as the baker?
I'm normally not a fan of him, and I loved him in this role. I really did. He was funny, and also, I often found when he was Tobias Ragg, he sounds like he belongs in Rent, but we keep putting him in Sondheim. But because of the way Chip Zine's voice is sitting in my memory, his voice isn't actually that far from that. So it had some nostalgia to it too. I was prepared to dislike him, and I found him and Sarah Bareilles so lovely together.
I cannot wait to see it. It's going to be so good.
Oh, so good. That's taking it down.
Oh yes, can't wait. Well, as we wrap up here, what advice would you give for those who are creating their own content and just want to put it out there, and who are performers? I mean, it's a tough world out there in general, but I know especially for performers, I have such a respect for all performers, not only because I did 6 months at casting office and would see the ins and outs of new performers coming in, but as somebody who used to do it. So what advice do you have for them? And as in this world where social media content is big, what would you say to people? Does the social media presence for them matter?
I think it matters if you would like it to matter. I don't know that I think people lose things on Broadway because they don't have following. It certainly has not happened to me yet. But I would say don't betray yourself. That, I think, my biggest word of advice is I I see my friends who have put stuff out in the world, and it's like it is for the people instead of for them. And
Right.
I feel like when you do something for you, regardless of its outcome, it will be working for you the way you want it to work. And so like I would just say do it. Number one is like waiting is not helping anybody. And two, just do what feels good. Like if you shirtless is what makes you feel good, be shirtless. If you showing an original composition is what you do, if you want to show an 8 count of what you can dance like, put it out there. Just put it out there. And if that's also not you, because that didn't used to be me, don't. You don't. Like there are plenty of people working on Broadway you can't find on Instagram.
That's true, and it's great, I'm just frustrating to contact them, but yes, it's
Yes.
true. But it's interesting you say that because I haven't heard, that's the first I've heard the response where you said, only if you want to, it's okay if you want to, because all I hear, I feel like so often from people in the creative space, not just theater, but in the creative space, it's like, have a social media following, the likes matter, followers matter, if you're not on it, and so I find that it's such a, I agree with it so much, and that's why I find it so interesting that you say that, because it seems like all I hear today is everyone saying, like, you said with Broadway, no decisions really been made because of that, but actually I have heard that when it's come down to like bigger stars or, if it's like it's like who has the most followers or whatever, but, so it's interesting that you say that, but I agree with that because I think it shouldn't matter, but it seems like in the world of creativeness, it does.
Well, I'll say this, without saying what shows and names and all that. My partner was up for a replacement in a Broadway show, and he was against a dude who was just an understudy in the show that has like maybe 1,500 followers. My partner's probably not the same. And they were up against an Emmy Award-winning star who has like 275K followers, and the understudy from the show got it.
Wow.
So like,
okay, well, that's
so
embarrassing.
I think it's important to remember that these are tools, they are not end-all be-alls. And so like, I think having a presence is good. I worked in casting too, and the easier you make it for me to find you, the easier it is for me to give you the things that you want. So
Right.
like, have a presence, but like, I don't think it has to be like, oh my God, I didn't reach 1,000 followers in 2 weeks. Like, oh, I'm worthless. Like, I don't know that part of it matters so much. I think use the tool. Certainly it's there, but like only in a way that's like good for you. Like the followers will come from the work that you do. Like I literally get followers now just because I work in a bar and I say the handle. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's amazing. I love hearing that. It's one of my probably my favorite responses to that question, and I haven't heard that in a while. I think it's really important, and I'm slowly starting to see the shift. I feel like in the creative world, I think before COVID, I'm seeing a lot of it. It was all about like, oh, the numbers, you get, but it seems like it's slowly, it should be about the talent in any.
totally. And listen, if you're choosing between two talented people and one's not, well, that's fine.
Right.
I just don't want to see like another Mean Girls situation.
Right.
Can I say that? Is that bad?
No.
I would not say that.
Oh, please. You are good, believe me. This show has gone on 7 months. We've had tea spilled all over it, so it's all good. This is what my Rye Friends is here for. Now, as we wrap up, is there any sort of final things, final thoughts, anything to touch on that?
You covered a lot. I think if I were to leave anybody with anything, especially off that last question, is like, the best art happens when you're like acknowledging parts of yourself. And so if you can find a way to be true to that and put that out in the world, I feel like that's the magic area. I feel like that's what this Patti Lupone thing was. I took a weird piece of myself that's so true to who I am, and people respond.
Right. You're putting yourself out there. The parts of you inside, putting it out there, which is also not to plug my own stuff, but the parts I keep inside that I'm producing, written by Jeffrey Schmelk, and it's going to be at the Triad again in July for 2 nights. And it explores the versions of the human condition, culture, but it explores moments of sincerity, vulnerability. We were there last year for 1 night. We did a song cycle then. We were 1 night, we sold out. Now it's a full book musical, and it's 2 nights, the 9th and 11th of July. So get your tickets, and it's really, that's the title, Parts I Keep Inside.
I love that.
Beautiful. I think you like it.
What a nice segue for you.
So great. I wasn't doing it. It's a nice segue. And so So get your tickets now, they're on sale. It is gonna be great.
The triad is so cute.
It is
I want to put on a
cute.
site-specific production of Cabaret there. It's just so fun.
And they are so great to work with. I seriously mean that. I've worked with a few other venues. They are truly the greatest. So, yeah. Listen, thank you so much, Jonathan. Give Jonathan a round of applause. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Of course, thank you to Broadway Makers Marketplace, to our incredible sponsor, Triple Threat Planner. Next week's guest is the incredible Joey Contreras. And then the following week, we have Mackie Stiggers and Spiro Marcos, which is going to be wonderful. And make sure you check out the Broadway Makers Marketplace here in person at Columbus Circle, Turnstyle Underground, or online at the Broadway Makers Marketplace.shop.
Store.
What?
.store.
Oh, .store, Broadway Makers Marketplace.store. Again, Broadway Makers Marketplace.store.
It's so cute.
It is, yes. And finally, on Sundays, we have Sundays Extravaganza. Come down for Broadway Bingo at 12 o'clock, Broadway Karaoke, and then we finish here with my show, and there's usually a podcast performing as well. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Have a great night on Sunday. I'll see you next week.
Oh my God, my pleasure.
So fun.
And not right. I was like,
We are so good at Broadway, so